Wonderful. As said before, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Falgunan. Toastmaster Falgunan wears many hats. He is an HR professional. He was also the area director. He has performed many roles in clubs. He was a founder member of Mahindra Toastmasters Club, after which he has taken up many roles in the at the area level, district level, club level. And we are very proud to have him as our TMOD, our Toastmaster of the day today. And I would request Toastmaster Falgunan to take the meeting forward. Over to you, Toastmaster Falgunan.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Nirmala Menon. The theme for today's meeting is immunity to change. How many of us have in life something that they want to change in themselves? That some behavior, some actions, some habits, and have struggled a lot. They have kept trying, but have not able to find a solution. Raise your hand if you have faced this situation. I have. Thank you. Thank you. Now, here is what the American psychologists Robert Kegan and Lisa Lay found out when they, over the research, which was over 30 long years. We human beings, we want to change, but we have our own immunity to change. We do something which is exactly opposite to what we want to do to preserve and maintain the status quo. And to what extent? Let me share an experiment, a real experiment which happened in 2000. There were 7 high-risk heart patients called in. And the doctor informed those 7 heart patients, if you do not do proper dieting, if you do not start exercising, and if you do not quit smoking, you will die in the next 1 year. It's a clear statement by the doctors. Even after sharing, when it's a matter of life and death, when people need to change, only 1 out of 7 was actually able to change themselves. The 6 other people died. Now, what else can be more critical and grave situation when it's a matter of life and death, and still people are not willing to change their way of living, their behaviors, their habits, their lifestyle. Seeing that, the big question comes in as to, when it's not so critical a situation, how would you make people change their behaviors? Yeah, and that's where the problem happens. Robert Kegan also did an experiment, and over the research what he did, found out that all human beings plateau in their mental development process after adolescence. While after 12 years, we start the processing of abstract conceptualization, we start understanding the world, and we keep learning, what we do is keep adding new knowledge and skills. Okay? Our operating system, we do not change. But we keep adding new knowledge, we attend leadership programs, we will do many things. And then they struggle that we have got the insights and they are all charged up to go ahead and start implementing that new learning, but they fail. Put in the effort, they fail. They again put in the effort, they fail. And that keeps on happening like a cycle in various aspects of our lives. And that's where the question came, how can we look at our operating systems? Only desires and motivations are not enough to make a change. We need to go deeper on our competing commitments. There's something called competing commitments, which involves a combination of our beliefs or attitudes and our perceptions of life. We do not see the world as it is. We see it as we are. So with this context, I will share some more insights as we move forward towards the meeting. Let me invite the first role player for the day. She's none other than the presiding officer for the day, and she would be the grammarian for today's meeting. Please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Nirmala Menon to explain her roles.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Falgunan. As the language evaluator, or in other words, the grammarian for today, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will make note of any misuses of the English language as well as record usages of outstanding words, quotes, or phrases. As the language evaluator, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And for today's meeting, the word is challenging, which means testing one's abilities. It also means demanding. It also means inviting competition, being provocative. Sentence examples would be: this is a challenging period for each one of us. The second sentence would be: Carmen lifted a chin, challenging him. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I have mentioned the word of the day and its sentence usage in the chat for your convenience. I'll give the word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called for. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Falguna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nirmala. May I now request the R counter for the day, Toastmaster Charudat Belsare, to share his role as an R counter.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Am I audible?
Yes.
Perfect. Past and present district officers, presiding officer, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and our distinguished guest today. Good evening. The purpose of our counter role, that is my role today, is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen to words and keep the count of inappropriate expressions such as well, so, you know, sounds like I will also note when speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, this means and. It is known as double crutch. I will present my report when called upon during end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Charudat. Now, may I request the timer for the day, Toastmaster Jay Singh, to share his role guidelines.
Good evening, presiding officer, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, and lovely guests. Today, my role is timer. And as a timer, I have to watch, I have to keep an eye on each and every second so that our meeting and on right time. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red card, which denote specific times remaining. Okay. Example, table topic speaker, 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1.5 minutes, I will show the yellow. And 2 minutes, I will raise the red card in the presentation mode. And for the speeches, 5 minutes, I will raise green, 6 minutes, yellow, 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. Okay. Thank you very much. And over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jay. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving forward to this immunity to change, what Robert Higgins said is there are 3 plateaus in an adult mental development journey, and we can plateau and get stuck in either of these three levels. The first level is the socialized mind. And here it is said that whatever we say, our mental complexity, that would be to see that it is aligned to the norms of the group. We are influenced to say what others believe in. It is something called a group think, psychological scenario phenomenon, whereby we would look for harmony and conformity of others in whatever we say. Okay, that's a socialized mind. The next level to that is a self-authored mind. Here it is said that apart from thinking about conformity and saying what others want to hear, there will also be a own agenda and mission which a person wants to accomplish. And they would go ahead doing that. It is possible that a person just stays in that socializing mind, which is the first phase, and plateaus. And throughout life, they are only doing that. The socialized mind, it happens when you're working, it happens in your life, and it's unconscious process. It's also sometimes in the corporate world, we say the second job. That means we go about only pleasing others and looking at conformity. And people live their entire lives in that phase. The self-authoring mind is where it breaks that and take risks and also drives the agenda, which is for the greater good. And the highest level in this mental development is a self-transforming mind. Here is where a person can sit back and look into their own mental blocks and filters. We all see from our lens, which we think is the ultimate truth, but it's a perception. No one can understand the entire thing, anything fully, especially about other human beings. But we think we know others, which is the greatest myth. So it is about realizing that it's a point of view, it's a perspective. And what holds today true may not be the truth tomorrow. It's changing, everything is changing. Yeah. So please remember these three mental development plateaus. And human beings have to aspire to reach to that self-transforming mind stage. And that's where we really evolve, grow, wise, and is able to understand the world in the best possible manner. Coming back, there are three parts in any Toastmasters meeting, and even in advanced club, we'll have these three parts, but we'll have a different flavor. As explained by the presiding officer, there'll be three people who would be listening very attentively to the speaker. We already have the lead evaluator spotlighted. I request Toastmaster Puneet to share the objectives of the speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Falgunan. They say humor works like an armor, and that's exactly what Toastmaster Sai is attempting from his pathway, engaging humor, and the project is Icebreaker. So the purpose of this project is to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of speech, of a public speech. I will be assisted by distinguished Toastmaster Atul on the content side and Toastmaster Akshay on the delivery side. Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. All the best. And yes, I'm sorry. Timer, please know that the time is 4 to 6 minutes with a grace period of 30 seconds. Wishing Toastmaster Sai all the best. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Puneet, lead evaluator, for sharing the speech objectives. Put your hands together to welcome the speaker, Toastmaster Sai Ramchandran, smartest kid in the classroom. Smartest kid in the classroom, Toastmaster Sai Ramchandran.
You know what they never tell you about parenting? They never tell you that you have this nagging fear, this worry in your head that your kid is going to be the duffer, the idiot of the class. I mean, logically, in a classroom of 40, there has to be one kid who's dead last. But you never imagine that it's going to be your kid who's going to be dead last. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now a father of a 1-year-old. And I will be damned if my kid is 40th in a class of 40 kids. So I've come up with a plan. My plan is as follows. I will teach my kid the thinking behind the deepest questions behind humanity, the questions which underpin philosophy and wisdom. So even if he's not good at maths, he has a chance of becoming a mystic. So without further ado, here are the 3 questions I will start with. Who am I? Where did I come from? And what is my purpose in life? My plan is to discuss this with him so that he learns who he is, so that at some point, if he has a choice to make between flunking out of class or becoming a mystic, he has something to hold on to. Question number 1, who am I? Son, if I have to tell you who you are, then you're already a lost cause. But let me try anyway. You are my son, and I am the son to my parents, whom you see every morning in the guest bedroom of our apartment. Your grandfather, your tata, is the man who's watching YouTube all day long, streaming into it about 2 countries he's unlikely to visit ever in his life: Pakistan and China. Your grandmother, my mother, is a lady who teaches you borderline racist or sexist lullabies. Lullabies that she learned when she was a little girl in the 50s and 60s. That's who you are from my side. On your mother's side, you're obviously your mother's child. Your mother has an older sister whom you've seen so many times on video. And she has 2 parents, your maternal grandparents, whom, if they had their way, would kidnap you from us to keep you with themselves. So that's who you are. And if you, like me and your mother, would like siblings, I definitely recommend that you go to bed early and sleep right through the night if you want to have siblings to play with. Now let's get to the second question. Where did I come from? Son, I can't answer the biology of the question because it's a little too early to be discussing that with you. But geographically, you came from Mamta Maternity Home in Ghatkopar. But if you want to do well in class, a one-liner saying, I came from Mamta Maternity Home in Ghatkopar is not going to cut it. You need to pad your answer. And to do that, you need to understand where your family, we came from. I came from a small town called Jamshedpur. When I look back at Jamshedpur, I see a city in sepia. You know, those black and white pictures which turn yellow with age. In my mind's eye, Jamshedpur is a little behind the times. In fact, we were so behind the times that when the entire country was rocking to Hamara Kal, Hamara Aaj, Hamara Bajaj, my father had an Alban Pushpak, which was a copy of an even older Italian scooter called a Lambretta. And I personally could not wait to leave Jamshedpur and head out into the world. So when I was 18, I went off to Bangalore for my engineering degree. At 22, I started my first job in Chennai. In fact, I met a friend for life on the streets of Chennai when I was looking for an apartment to live in. I was walking past this guy cleaning his car who was also looking for a roommate, and we've been friends ever since. That is my life in Chennai. After that, at 23, I moved off to New York to get a computer science degree a master's in computer science from NYU. And I stayed there for a long time. I had no plans of coming back until a certain orange man got elected as president. And I decided that I did not want to give my taxes to pay for that guy's salary. So I came back to India. I met your mother. We got married. And then a stork dropped you off at Mamta Maternity Home, from where we brought you back home. And that's where you came from. And now comes the big question. What's my purpose in life? Son, your purpose in life is to be the best possible you that you can be. And my purpose in life is to be the best possible me that I can be, as is the purpose of everybody in the audience, to be the best possible they that they can be. And if that means you're going to be 40th in a class of 40, so be it. But what I really want from you, and I want from myself, and I want from everyone here, is to be the first in a class of your own. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Let's give a big round of applause, Sai, for his speech. Request timer, Toastmaster Jay, to share the timer's report.
6 minutes 35 seconds. Best, one of the best speech I heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jay.
Probably 5:35, not 6:35.
6:35.
Okay.
All right. All the members, you may take a minute to give your feedback to Toastmaster Sai on his personal chat. Okay.